Why do you keep working harder just to survive a corporate career when it was never built with you in mind? And what if you're not failing to keep up because the whole thing was built this way on purpose? That's today's topic. Let's dive in. Welcome to Break Up with Corporate, the podcast for women who want to plan their escape from the 9-to-5 and build a business of their very own. I'm your host, Debbie Mitten, a business mentor at Virtually Debbie, and a recovering corporate survivor after spending 37 years inside the matrix. All right, everybody, welcome back. Today, we are calling out the bullshit, so strap in because this ride is going to get bumpy. Here's the dream corporate America sold to you. Stability, a steady paycheck, health insurance, a retirement plan, a career ladder with clear steps. So if you worked hard and did what was asked of you, you'd climb it. That was the agreement and why so many of us signed up for it in the first place. And it's why you stayed. But that deal came with a structure underneath that was built to serve the company first, not you. What you get is the bare minimum required to keep you there. So let's go back to the beginning. They say how a relationship begins will tell you a lot about how you'll be treated and how it will ultimately end. In corporate, that relationship starts before you even have the job. These days, the entire hiring process feels less humanized and more automated. Some of those job postings you apply for aren't even real openings. Companies design their hiring systems to cut costs and remove the human element wherever they can, building a pipeline, running everything through software instead of people. Your first connection, an initial interview, is with an AI chatbot, for Christ's sakes. You go through round after round, you prepare, you show up, and you even sometimes do unpaid work to prove yourself. It's a fucking scam. Cutting costs was the goal. Your time and humanity were never part of that equation. All right, so now you're in, right? And you soon discover that your title has one little hidden secret. You're actually doing the job of 3 people, but getting paid as 1. On top of that pressure, companies launch initiative after initiative without hiring the adequate number of people needed to support them. And then layoffs happen, and the work doesn't shrink with the headcount, it just gets handed to whoever is left. Sometimes they lay off the senior person and rehire the same role for less money down the line. And don't even get me started on the scam that is called the prestigious salaried classification, the exempt employee versus the non-exempt employee. When you're hired as a salaried employee, none of those extra hours you dedicate to anything outside the 9-to-5 working hour window is paid for. When you break it down, the actual numbers of the hours you're really working and divide that by the annual salary, you're better off working as an external consultant or taking a position that offers overtime, but those barely exist anymore. Here's another kicker: your health insurance that's tied to your job. Companies know exactly what it means to hold coverage over your head, and they use it as leverage to keep you there. Your retirement match has a vesting schedule, so you walk away too soon and you leave money on the table. Some companies now attach stock or training programs to contracts. They say if you leave before a certain date, you owe that money back. All of this is about making the cost of leaving high enough that you stay, even when staying is hurting you. And then there are the systems cosplaying as help. Human resources. HR isn't there to protect you. HR is there to protect the company from liability. That's the actual job. And you know those supposed anonymous employee feedback surveys? Well, plenty of them aren't as anonymous as they claim. Whether the giveaway is your IP address, your writing style, your department, or the timing of when you submitted it. Or sometimes it's just a friend of yours in the IT department warning you. True story. So think about that before you type your honest opinion into that box. Another total joke is the annual performance review. You spend hours writing it, all to prep for a big discussion with your manager. Most of those conversations don't matter. It's a ridiculous formality because the decision whether or not you get a raise was made way before you ever wrote a word. The budget was set before that review ever landed on your manager's desk. You can tell when you work your ass off and you go above and beyond only to receive a meets expectations. That's the dead giveaway. Here's another ridiculous perk. Those HR-sponsored wellness programs where they hand you a meditation app for a workload problem the company created in the first place. A 10-minute breathing exercise does not fix a 50-hour work week. This is the corporate machine doing exactly what it was built to do, to extract as much labor and money as it legally can while keeping you compliant enough to stay. And look, not every company runs every one of these exactly the same way. Some are more humane about it than others, but the structure underneath, the salaried exemption, the health insurance tied to your job, the vesting schedules, that doesn't change from company to company. That's how the system itself is built. So you might start to think that there's something wrong with you because you're struggling to keep up in this system. Girl, nothing is wrong with you. You're reading the system correctly. It was never really built for your benefit. It was built for the company, and you were the labor that it ran on. So the question is, should I stay or should I go or should I do something in between? And that's something that we can talk about one-to-one together because each woman's situation is very different. But for the purposes of this podcast, here's what I would generally say. Maybe you're not ready to jump ship yet, and that's fine. But let's be clear about what staying and being smart about it actually means. Staying smart means using their money to fund your exit on your terms without getting chewed up in the process. Here's some advice to make this whole thing more palatable until you can leave. 1, put everything in writing. So there's a paper trail if a review or a promotion decision ever gets unfair. 2, know your vesting schedule and your comp structure cold, so you're never blindsided by what you'd actually be walking away from. 3, set a hard line on after-hours work and hold it, because nobody else is going to hold it for you. This is a transaction, so you need to treat it like one. 4, and while you're there, start building your own leverage. Track your wins for yourself privately, somewhere that isn't a self-review that nobody reads. And 5, continue to build relationships and the skills that are yours to keep, no matter who signs your paycheck. Staying doesn't mean you have to stay stuck. Now, maybe you've decided that you are so done with the whole system. You know this in every cell in your body. You want out. The good news is that you don't have to choose between the safety of the paycheck and making this leap. Use that job while you still have it. That salary can fund your runway, the savings cushion that lets you leave without panicking. Test your idea. If you have a business idea, test your idea on the side before you ever need it to work. Take stock of your many transferable skills and talents. The way you kept a chaotic team running, the way you solved problems nobody else could touch. Start recognizing how you can turn these wonderful talents into a business of your own, a business you're going to love. This is not just your job description. When you build your own thing, you get to set the terms that this system never gave you. Your pay, your hours, your ceiling. And that's not a fantasy. It's just a different structure. And this time, you are the one building it. The system isn't broken. It was built this way. Whether you stay and play it smarter, or leave and build something of your own. Now you know what you're actually working with. Well, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much for joining. If you found this helpful, feel free to binge listen to all the other episodes. And if you found it helpful, share this with your friends who are also in corporate who are looking to bust out. I will catch you guys in the next episode.